All right, hello. For those of you who are new to my channel and to me, my name is Melissa Wallach, and I am here today to share a conversation regarding an area that I am very passionate about and interested in, which is nutrition. And I'd like everyone to meet Andrea Caprio of Wellness Methods, who is a nutrition expert, and I'll have her tell you more. But we are going to delve into a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is emotional eating and how to deal with cravings. I am a very passionate person also, not just about food, but about chocolate. And there's probably a reason for that. And we'll get to hear how I can be a little more comfortable in my moderation with that. And I think this is a topic that will really resonate with many people. So just to give you, so hello, Andrea.
Hello, Melissa, and everybody here who's listening. Thanks so much for having me. And I love that you are passionate about chocolate. So am I, because chocolate actually is not that bad, believe it or not. It just depends which chocolate. But there is good chocolate out, and the quantity as well. So there is good chocolate out there, and a little piece from time to time. To be honest, as a nutrition coach, I eat it as well. But I know how to limit myself because I learned it, obviously.
Yes, and that's a tricky thing. To have 3 servings in a chocolate bar, I think, is unfair.
Where are those 3 servings? Depends on the size.
True. I need the 1 serving bar, because then
Absolutely.
I don't have to have so much self-restraint.
Absolutely. But today I'm going to share with you a couple of tricks around emotional eating. So I will share with you and the listeners my 5 sacred secrets to end emotional eating. And I've been very passionate about that because I see that all the clients who come to see me, most of them or many of them have weight issues, and it's always going back to emotional eating. And let's face it, we are stressed in today's life. We might have, a missing purpose or whatever it is. And what do? We go towards the food. Unfortunately, the food is not solving anything. And I always say it really is important to see, what are you really hungry for? Right?
Oh, I totally agree. And for those who do not know me, I am a coach and a therapist, and I really believe that when we are moving through transitions, I focus on transitions with people, with their career, their health, their relationships. And a foundational framework that I provide my clients is called BREATHE, and it's this acronym, and the E in BREATHE stands for eating and how we eat, because I think the fuel that we put in our body, how we fuel our mind, is so important. And people are overwhelmed and people are stressed. And what do? We seek nourishment and love and comfort and hello, food. So I often speak about fueling the mind and the brain. But when you and I met, I was so intrigued because, one, you are an expert in this field, and I am not. I've done training, but in no way you have. And I think it's so important to go deeper. And you have that knowledge and expertise to share with us today. And I am excited to hear about it. I have clients who have told about I've told them about what we're doing today, and they've already requested the recording.
That's wonderful. I can't really wait to share everything with everybody here. And please, of course, do reach out if you have any questions at any stage, because it's so important. And you're absolutely right. And I love your work, helping people to transform. And I see it very often, like you have the E in your breathe, as if the eating is not right, the lifestyle is not right, all these basics. You can do training like you want, you can train to be the best worker or whatever it is. But if your body is sick and you're not nourishing it correctly, then it's really a big trouble and you cannot do much. If you can't focus, you don't have the energy, your body is just not following, and your brain is also not following, because let's face it, in the end, it goes back then to our brain power. Reading very interesting book at the moment around that. It's so much, around back to food, and it all starts most of the time in our digestive system, in our gut. And
Yes, that
that's
brain gut connection, our enteric nervous system is oftentimes overlooked. So I'm glad you're bringing that up.
absolutely. And that's why, as a master transformational nutrition coach, I specialized in digestive health. So I've done actually 2 specialization in digestive health. I'm super, super passionate about it, because really everything goes back to the gut. And very often it goes about eating, but it's in the end also what you absorb, very important as well, not to forget. So there might be perhaps some gut issues you might have if you're eating super healthy and you're still having dis-ease. So look at that eventually. But it's also really important to focus on other aspects, hormonal. So that's why I did a hormonal specialization as well. And then my main focus is working with people to help them with weight loss and with emotional eating, where the two areas I have done also some specializations, because I felt when clients saw me, they wanted to go deeper into it. And I really focus on giving them that support of looking on all the areas. So it's not only the eating, it's also the spiritual health, it's the emotional health. So important. It's also, of course, your exercise, sleep, stress management, all these things. And I know you work a lot around these as well, right?
Mhm.
So it's definitely overlapping areas. We're very clear. Definitely there's a very holistic approach that is needed for well-being. My focus is, of course, mostly on the nutrition and on the lifestyle.
Yes, and when you focus on that, it trickles down to all the other areas, right? So this really is, it is a foundation
Mm.
to supporting a healthy, happy lifestyle. And I love what you also mentioned on your website, with your company Wellness Methods, that when you start to feel more confident as far as your nutrition and your energy, right? That just it your choices, like that also converts to how you make choices in other areas of your life, right? Yes, I really am excited about your work. And so,
Thanks.
how did you? I know you said, I mean, you have these specializations, you are a master coach in nutrition. Was there something specifically that led you to this work and your great offerings that we'll talk about later?
Excellent question, Melissa. Yes, it has definitely. It is my own life story. And I think we all in these fields, and I know you as well, in your field, we go through life-changing experiences, which make eventually us change. And I have been in a completely different area, far more in corporate than I am now. And I did a cleanse, a detox, a 21-day detox, actually, which is very similar to my 21-day cleanse that I'm actually doing at the moment as we speak. I'm in week number 2. And my husband already lost 4 or 5 kilos. I lost 2 kilos. I don't need to lose too much weight, but for me, it's really to get back and to reset my system. So I did this 21-day cleanse at the time, a couple of years ago, and I suddenly realized how much more energy I had. And I had always acne. As an adult, having acne is kind of weird, I find. I mean,
It's
I know a lot of
unfair.
it's unfair, but I felt always very conscious about it. I said, but I'm not a teenager. Why is that? And I had always migraine headaches almost every week. And I had digestive troubles, which I didn't really realize. And I had a couple of pounds and too many and so on. So I had a lot of issues, nothing major yet. Okay. Lots of hormonal issues as well. I had fibroids my whole life, more or less. And so I did that cleanse and I felt so much better. No more migraine headaches. I lost weight. My digestive system went all away. I could focus. I had so much more energy. It was absolutely crazy. I mean, I didn't realize how much I was lacking energy until when I had it. It was like this difference was amazing.
Right.
And I
The
said,
night
hold
and
on.
day comparison.
Oh, and you don't realize, when you're in there, you just take it for granted because a doctor will say, oh, it's normal, don't worry, it's fine, or you don't realize really. So it's really something where I really realized it. And I said, hold on. And then I went on holiday. I got back to eating crap food. And then I did another time, sorry. I did
Totally.
another,
No,
I
that's
did
really
another,
what it is.
it is. Like let's face it, it was not that bad. I never ate that badly either, but it was just a bit too much sugar, too much pasta, and all these things.
Potato chips, whatever it is.
Right, yeah, right. And so I couldn't wait until I got home to do another cleanse, same result. And, I suddenly had again the energy, I lost the weight and so on and so on. And I said, hold on, there's really something with that nutrition. So I started to become curious. And then I researched some really, really good schools and university. And I decided to go for the Institute of Transformational Nutrition. And I did first the Transformational Nutrition Coaching certification. And then after I did the Master certification, where I did all the specializations in there. And that was amazing. And what is so good, I really look at it because it's not only really cutting edge science of nutrition I'm teaching, and I learned, of course, functional nutrition, which is so important to go really at the root cause, but it also combines the spiritual health, the emotional health, the psychology, and the coaching skills. Because what does it help to tell you that you should eat the apple? Right? You should eat the apple. But then, you have the bar of chocolate and you're eating the bar of chocolate. So that's why the coaching comes in to really help you to get there, to see what are your limiting beliefs, what are your stumbling blocks, and help you with implementing and keeping those healthy habits.
Yes. And I see that, for me personally, I have had absorption issues due to an autoimmune disease. And, but even before that, I became really interested in nutrition, working with clients, especially in the medical setting, and seeing what a difference that made energy wise, memory wise. They'd walk in and I could tell within 5 seconds if they'd eaten breakfast or lunch or eaten it all that day. And it still shocks me. I don't know why. People will come in even at 2:00 and say, oh no, I haven't eaten today.
Yeah.
And I'm going, well, how in the world do we up level or function or perform our best if we don't have the fuel? And then we get so hungry that we reach for those foods that are not as healthy to get that quick energy, right? That's what we do. And I love that you have the education and the expertise to really show us and enlighten us about this emotional eating and these cravings. And I know you had mentioned that you had 5 secrets to share. I love how that's phrased. I'm like, ooh, I want to know the secrets. I'm sure everybody else does too. So that we can really start looking at that differently and, studying the mind. And I see what I do to support myself because I'm a pretty good eater, although I did just go on vacation, and I realized I manipulate my environment to support me quite a bit. And when I was out of my environment, although I'm gluten-free, I still stay gluten-free. That's a given for me. I hadn't had potato chips in months. And then once I started, it was like I couldn't stop. Right? I'm like, somebody needs to take this away from me. And I don't think I'm alone in that, right? Like people bump into that. I don't normally have those in the house, or I buy them with gluten for my family, so I can't touch them.
Absolutely.
Right. So, but I totally know. I'm like, this is lighting up certain centers in my brain. I'm getting a little dopamine hit, at least when I thought about the bag of chips. So it's interesting. And I found a chocolate shop in Kauai, a gluten-free chocolate shop, as soon as I got there.
Of course, when you need to find something, you always find it. That's for
it's
sure,
amazing.
wherever. Even in Alaska or somewhere, you know.
Right? I was like, really? Here's this little tiny hole in the wall. Yay! Uh, but so let's jump to that because I think it's so impactful and you really, I know you mentioned weight loss, but I think it's even more than that. See, the confidence, the feeling good, the energy, and having more control and recognizing that you have choices.
Right.
It's that
Absolutely.
mindful piece that I love, that mindful eating, making conscious choices about what we're putting in our body. And I consciously chose to eat the chocolate and
And the potato chips.
the potato chips. I was like, I'm on vacation. I'm going to do it.
Then
Yummy
you should
barbecue
enjoy.
potato
And
chips.
that's so important in the end. You
Yes.
should
And
then
now I'm
enjoy.
back and I'm not doing that, right? But it certainly, there is a transition though when you get home because now I
Absolutely.
want that even more. And
Yeah.
so it's getting back on track. And patience is important with oneself, I think, when we're making change.
It
It's
is
comfortable.
patience. I think it is also, and I will go a little bit more, but it's also, doing small steps. And then, like you said earlier, it goes back to we don't have that willpower. I always say you have a bag full of willpower, little coins of willpower. So you take one out, two out, three out, four out. Eventually the bag is empty and there's no more.
That's
Okay.
a
And
good
that's
way to put it.
I absolutely love that way as well because it's so clear, and that's why I'm working with my clients really in another way that you don't need that willpower anymore. And I'm going to now share my 5 sacred secrets with you to end emotional eating. So let's dive in. So number 1 is to clarify your direction. What that means, of course, is just to get really, really clear about your goals. I see very often, however, that the goals are not that clear because you might say now, just now, but I have the goals. I want to lose those 5 pounds, or I don't want to eat that chocolate, or whatever it is. We have those goals, but they're not clear enough. And that's very often when we don't have really a clear direction. Let's say you have Google Maps and you don't put an address in. Google Maps is really a great app, but if you don't put the address in, you don't go anywhere. You go nowhere. Okay, you're going to go in circles. So if you're not very clear into that, what is your direction, it's difficult. Now, setting your goals is, of course, should be achievable and they should also be measurable. So saying, for example, something, I want to lose 20 pounds in 6 months is something you can measure and you have a date to it. So that's really, really clear. Of course, there are other things as well you could come up with. But then the other thing is as well that you want to really feel how you are. Once you've lost, let's stay with the 20 pounds, once you are there, how will you feel? How will that tight-fitting pair of jeans that has been hanging in your cupboard for the last many years, and how will that look on you when you put it on? How will you step out? How will you meet your friends or your partner or whatever it is, and really what is it you want to look like, or how do you want to look like, and how do you want to feel about it? And that's so much more important. That's your bigger why. It might be, that perhaps you're unhealthy. You have perhaps an illness and you want really to improve that by eating healthier and healthier lifestyle. And because you want to spend time with your grandchildren later on to play with them, right? So
Yes,
important. So
it
getting
really is.
super clear.
Yes. And I think a lot of times we set goals that are very vague and we could have that same goal for 5 years. Right. But so if we really do get more specific, as you said, achievable, measurable, I think realistic and practical is always important too. And, pulling that and then having that visualization and sensation and feeling like I'm going to look like a rock star in my jeans when I go out for my birthday in 3 months or 4 months or whatever it is. And that's going to feel so good, or I'm going to be able to keep up with everybody on the hike
Yeah,
because I have less weight and more energy. So,
absolutely.
yes, that's so important. I love it.
Super,
Okay.
super important. Make a vision board or something. Right. Next point is strategize your action. Obviously, once you have your goals clear, you need to have an action plan. Again, I'm seeing a lot of people have the goal, but if they don't have a clear action plan in place, what is the goal for? You're not going to do it. And that's usually what happens, that when you don't have that plan in place, you come home, you're tired, you had a super stressful day, you couldn't be bothered with cooking, and you head for your fridge or whatever is there, and you head for the first thing and you take it out and you eat it. And usually that thing is not the healthiest, right? Because it's quick. And fast food or cookies or all these things, they have all one thing in common: they're quick to eat, quick to consume, quick to prepare. So by preparing and getting super clear and planning your actions there, you can then put the carrot sticks already cut with the hummus next to it, right on the eye height of your fridge, and have it ready there. So planning for these things, planning for your whole week of food, of your meals, sitting on a weekend there and doing your weekly plan. When am I in? When am I out? What do I need to buy? Do the shopping, do your meal list, prepare the cooking, do batch cooking. Planning for that is super important. And what I usually there recommend, have the bigger picture, your, let's say, 3 months. So you do a planning for 3 months, like the big lines, and then you cut it down to 1 month, to weekly, and then until every day in the morning you wake up, you have your list ready because you prepared it the evening before. Very helpful trick, by the way. It saved me so much. I mean, that's one of the big changes I've done, is preparing my list in the evening. So I work actually that I do my 3 months planning, and then I work in weekly increments, and I have my milestones per week that bring me towards my goal nearer. And that's really, really helping. And find fun ways, things. How can you burn extra calories, or what exercise can you do? Maybe you want to dance, or you want to take the stairs instead of the lift. All kind of things that make it fun and easy to achieve. Plan for that.
I was just looking for a pen so I could be writing these down, and then I remembered we're recording. It's okay.
Okay. I also thought that I should write things down. It's funny. Writing down.
Yes, there's so much power in writing things down neurologically and memory wise, but we're not going there today on this. So
it keeps you free in your mind, right?
Right. So, let's hear more. Okay.
Upgrade your skills is number 3 of my secrets. Now, of course, you know that you are an expert on your own body, but you don't know, and you don't have always the tools to, use those. So it might be, to learn how to shop healthier. It might be what exercise might benefit you, because we are all different. And the way I'm working with my clients is really in a very personalized manner, because everybody needs different things. So by learning what is good for you, that is not necessarily good for somebody else. Because that's the secret. We read out there on internet, we read about the keto diet or the paleo diet or whatever it is. It's not necessarily good for you. I mean, like you said, you said that somebody doesn't eat the whole day, which is, of course, not healthy. But there's something like the intermittent fasting, which is something good. It has health benefits. But somebody who has blood sugar issues, like, for example, for me, if I don't eat in the morning, not first thing, but after I do, I have a good routine in the morning. But like 2 hours after, an hour to 2 hours after waking, I need to eat. Before I start working, I need to eat, and I eat in a way, of course, that is very balanced. So my energy goes up and my blood sugar goes up slowly, and slowly goes down again in the evening. And not like when somebody eats a sugary something, blood sugar goes up, crashes down. That's when we get hungry again. We eat something sugary, it goes up, goes down. And that's super unhealthy, by the way, for inflammation. Absolutely. Inflammation, for our stress, by the way. That's how people end up having more stress. So there are a lot of things around that. So these are things you want perhaps some help, and you might want to get somebody to help you. Somebody like me, for example, who has really the expertise and can help you to know what's good for you, what's the right skill you need to learn to be healthier, to, win at your body and all these things.
Right, because it is so easy. I live in Boulder, Colorado, and we have an even deeper love for the environment here. And at one point, I felt that need to go vegetarian. And that did not work for my body. It just doesn't. Um, I had to let that go. Like, okay, that works for, Tom and Susie and my neighbors and not for me. And that's
Absolutely.
okay. But it is learning what our body needs. We don't each come with our own unique instruction manual. Having guidance to really shed some light so we can increase our awareness about what's best for us, I
Yeah.
do think is so impactful.
Yes, and I fully agree on what you said earlier is really I'm also I went some time without completely meat. I always was a pescatarian, but I cut out meat. I normally don't eat much dairy, and over 2 years I didn't eat meat, but recently I reintroduced it. I felt my body needs it. So it's not only what's good for Tom and Sue and Harry, but it's also at certain stages of our lives our needs change. I'm, for example, going through menopause, my needs change, my hormones change completely. And I felt I need a little bit more protein to balance those hormones. All things are important. So that's what I'm really passionate about there. Next
Mhm.
points, let's jump on, is optimize your environment. And that's exactly what you said actually earlier, where you mentioned that you have normally your primed environment at home. You know that you have your things there, you have the good food there, you eat super healthy when you're at home, but when you're out of your environment, it might not work so much. And of course, there we go back to the planning. Of course, everything is interlinked. So you might want, if that's the case, want to plan better for your holiday if you want to stay healthier. But I guess you were quite healthy in any case, besides the potato chips.
Yeah, we made a plan and went to Costco and did the whole thing. So then I was like, well, my main meals are
Absolutely.
so
But optimizing your environment. And that is something that you want to make the healthy habits easy. So like I mentioned, have the carrot sticks and the hummus in front of the fridge and have the cookies far away. Okay, so it's the good things you want to have easily available, the bad things you want really to hide away. Now, if you want to exercise every morning, put out your gym shoes, your trainers, your sneakers, your whatever you put on and so on. And so it's easy for you to jump in and get running or whatever it is. So that's really important. And by the way, one thing as well is you might want to surround yourself with the people as well that go with your future lifestyle. You might to think, do I want to be? Where do I want to be? And rather surround yourself with the people who fit that lifestyle.
right. Because if you don't want to be consuming a lot of alcohol, don't be going out with people who drink every night, right? We would definitely want to switch that. And I do appreciate the visual cues and reminders are so important when we're making change. And I am a person, I lay out my clothes to go for a walk or a run or a hike because I do that each morning. But even though that is a habit there, I still lay the clothes out
Mm.
because then I see them. And even if I'm a little tired, like at least go for a little walk. Like the clothes are right there, just put them on. And the carrot sticks are right there to reach for. I almost turned orange because I ate so many carrot sticks.
Glad you didn't. But
They do give you that crunch.
yeah, I love them. Probably I'm soon orange too, but we have, my husband does the best hummus in the world, so it's always good with carrot sticks. So, but
Nice.
but I absolutely like that, and sometimes it might be, going on a half an hour hike is perhaps something that's too daunting, but at least just say start. And even if you just walk for 5 minutes, start, get started. Once
Walk
you're
to the
in it,
mailbox.
absolutely. Once you're in there, then you might as well that decide that you want to continue. But get started and make that really to optimize your environment. Let's jump to the last point, number 5, and that's my favorite one, where I'm really, really passionate about, and that's master your psychology. What does that mean is, of course, look what's the deep lying issues there. Why are we eating the cookies? Why can we not resist that cake? Why do we need to stuff ourselves full with ice cream where we know exactly that 1 or 2 spoons would be perhaps better? And there it really goes into limiting beliefs, into fears, into self-doubts, missing self-confidence, and the whole emotional eating. And that's really something where, when I work with my clients, the real transformation happens. Because when you find out what are your limiting beliefs, what was the trauma that brought you where you are today, what was the perhaps a habit that you were doing when you were a child that served you, or at least you thought it served you, but doesn't serve you today, but you just kept on doing it. And by working on these limiting beliefs and these mindsets things, and I know you're working a lot in this as well with your clients, Melissa, so we are definitely on the same page here. But it's definitely something where the biggest transformation is done, to find out, let's say you were a child and you've been sat in front of TV with a cookie jar by your parents every night they come home from work. Now, you thought they don't love you, and that's why they give you the cookies, and the cookies were your love. But in fact, your parents were just tired. They've been working the whole day. They just needed perhaps a little breather or so, and they put you in front of TV with a cooking jar. But today, you kind of put this together, and it's, of course, your subconscious, and that's why you continue eating the cookies.
And I do, we have so many deep-rooted habitual beliefs and ideas about ourselves, and have no idea how those came about, and that we can choose something different, that we can rewire the brain. We can change those, I call them unhelpful thought patterns, when we do cognitive behavioral therapy. And I think it is really it's powerful that you delve there with people and how that affects their relationship with food.
Yeah.
So when we look, we've got those 5. Let's summarize them quickly. So just in one sentence, number 1 is achievable, specific goals.
Your goals, yeah. Absolutely. Clarify your direction. Number 2, strategize your action. So really make an action plan. Number 3, upgrade your skills. See what you need to succeed, Optimize your environment. Make
Support
it easy
yourself.
Absolutely. Make it easy for, the good things to be there, and the bad things, put them away, and master your psychology. So get clear on your mindset, work on your mindset and get that clear. And you might need some help on that one. It's not something that's easy. I've done a lot of work on myself as well. While doing my studies, we did everything on ourselves. And there might be some shadow work or whatever it is, very interesting things. I have a fabulous technique, transformational trauma technique, that I'm using with my clients to go really very deep and rewire the brain, like you said earlier, to a more positive mindset about ourselves, more confident, self-care, that we eventually get into the stage to put ourselves first.
And when we look at that, I think it's important for people to realize change is uncomfortable, and the brain actually finds it to be unsafe. So it will really grip on to the old, even if we don't like it, because it's safe. And so that you do this work, and that you're there to help people and guide them, I think is so wonderful. And when we're making change, it is nice to have that person who helps you reinforce your commitment and stay on the path. So with that being said, how can people work with you? What offerings do you have and services? I believe you were going to start, I know you have the cleanse that you're in the second week of right now, but I know we had talked about some group offerings, and I think there's a lot of power in not feeling alone. When we feel like, oh, this person's having the hard time eating the bag of chips too, or, I was doing great and then I fell off the wagon, or, to have that support and camaraderie, there is a lot of forward movement that occurs when you have that in your life. So to have the guide, but to have your tribe is also helpful. So fill us in. How could we learn more, work with you? What ways are you working with people currently?
Love that. What was it? The tribe and the vibe, right?
I just made it up. So I'm
Oh,
not sure.
okay. I
We're
thought
going
that
to have
was
to
the.
listen.
I listened to the recording again. I might steal that
Um,
one. I
I
love it.
think it was something about having your guide, but also your tribe.
Tribe.
Yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah.
might steal that from you. Lovely. So, yes, absolutely. Thanks so much. So, the way I'm working with my clients, I've two basic ways or main ways to work with my clients. One is one-on-one coaching, of course, for those who really need a lot of support and have very specific needs and want also a very exclusive way of working. But I have also some other clients who wanted the group coaching, and some perhaps they also don't have the budget for one-on-one coaching. And so I created recently a group coaching program, and I'm passionate because I'm putting together the people in a group and they get support because, like you said earlier, we all have more or less similar problems. And very often we find actually somebody else has the same and they might have the solution. And it's just by the support, not feeling alone, not feeling like, oh, I need to be ashamed because I'm the only bad person, or, the person who is an emotional eater. By realizing somebody else has a similar issue makes so much easier, I must say. So I put this group coaching program where still people are in a group but still get one-on-one access to me. So I have really found a combination of putting the best of the two together. I'm really proud and happy about it because it took me some while to get there. Speaking with my clients, I really try to find what everybody needs. And so I have, the group coaching sessions where I teach, like we said earlier, upgrade your skills, optimize your environment. All these things I said earlier are, of course, included in there. And I help my clients, to start with the goals, to have the plan and then implement it. So I do a lot of teaching, but then also the group coaching sessions will be a Q&A. So if you would to participating, then you can also ask me questions, particularly on your needs. Let's say you have some thyroid issues, or you have some cardiovascular issues, or some specific digestive issues or so, then we can deep dive in these as well. Additionally, I also I will have some expert interviews, and I hope you're gonna be there very soon, by the way.
I would love to.
Absolutely. So I bring in some experts who help with other areas where I'm not an expert in, but of course that are relevant to emotional eating and becoming healthy. And there, as we know, so many areas in there. And I will have also Facebook support, and I put a lot of bonuses in. So it's really a nice rounded program which helping people to overcome emotional eating, implementing healthier habits, helping them with whatever health issues they have, no matter if it's a chronic disease, weight issues, emotional issues or so as well. And really to get to the goals and get the support of a group, because after all, and with sharing and with really a nice group, it's really nice.
It really is. I think when we're alone, it lends us to judging and criticizing ourselves more.
Mm.
And so and we wouldn't do that to other people. It's amazing how our inner dialogue is much more cruel and judgmental for our personal selves than, and we would never talk to other people that way. And so
Sure.
having that support group and team really does. I think it lifts everybody a little higher. And it also, honestly, I found in my groups, it increases accountability
Mm.
because you don't want to let the group down, right? Like
Yes.
you want to keep that higher vibe and energy up. That sounds amazing. And I will definitely be sharing that with people. What I would love though is what are the best ways for people to get in touch with you?
Okay, so because of wanting really to help your crowd and offering something special, I am offering a free session with me, a one-on-one session with me, completely
Wow.
free. It's an application process, I must warn you, and I have only a certain amount of spots. So if you're interested, rather take me up on that offer quickly before I say no anymore. You might be able to have it. Yes, of course you will. I guess you will share the link, and so the session will be like a full session with me, where we actually go a little bit like I've done earlier, but based on your particular issues, of course. And I really will give you an action plan forward. And there we can, of course, also find out if you want to be part of my group coaching program, or if you want to work one-on-one with me, or if you want to do it yourself. No problem, no issue. But I want really to offer that to help people to get clear, because what I saw is so many people struggle actually to get clear and get the motivation as well, to kickstart this whole thing. And that's so important. And, I'm giving you a lot of tips and an action plan. So take me up on that one while it lasts, because I might close it down anytime as well if I get too many people. And sometimes when I put that out, I've gotten fully booked. So you have that. And I also will have a little gift, my emotional stress eating formula, more food, less cravings formula, that I'll give you also the link for, so you can share it with your tribe. So you can get there. And then, of course, you can also look me up on my website, wellnessmethods.com, and as well on Facebook or Instagram. The handle would be Wellness Methods, so you can always find me there.
All right. Wellness
Voila.
methods. Great. So that way people can learn more. Some people love video and hearing about the information, and then some people really need to just delve in and read it. So that way you have multiple options. And thank you so much for your time and these tips and these gifts that you're offering, because I know that time is precious, and so is energy, right? Much more precious than money, actually.
True. Very true.
So, with what you're offering is to support people in maximizing their time and their energy. And I've really enjoyed talking with you today, for
Me
sure,
too.
because I do believe there is so much power in starting with small shifts. They make a difference. They create momentum. And that's what we really want. We want everyone to start feeling this uplift as far as their emotional, mental, cognitive, and physical health. It's all so tied together. And I appreciate that we both share that philosophy.
Absolutely. I really, really enjoyed that talk. Oh, it's amazing. I can't wait to have you. We can reverse roles. So I'm looking forward to having you on my channel as well very soon. So we'll sort that out. And thank you for having me. And thank you for everybody. And feel free to ask me any questions.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for being here. I'll look forward to us getting together
Thank
again
you.
soon.
Very
Yes.
soon.
Have a lovely rest of the day or evening for you, because you're
evening. Absolutely. In Portugal.
oh, Portugal. Okay. Yes. So from Boulder and Portugal, we wish you all a good rest of your day and evening.
Bye-bye.
Bye.